indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We should let people know the camera's going.
Oh, okay, camera's going.
Damn, is that New England Cable News Network?
You're right.
Yeah.
Makeup.
Alrighty, at 5:30, we have a poll petition hearing on Williamsville Road. Yeah, we had one earlier on this,
Yep.
correct?
Yes.
So do I need to read that, hearing notice?
She needs to read it.
Well, it's a new petition.
Oh,
It's
okay.
new.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is we had a hearing on this previous one several months ago. And you'll have to refresh my memory.
Larry Johnson, 1186 Williamsville Road.
This has to do with a tree and a pole
Tree,
right
pole, yep,
by your driveway or your property.
right.
Alrighty, so you want to start off, Rich, and tell us what's been going on and
Okay,
some
so
update?
you're not gonna read it, the new petition?
No.
Okay.
It's upstairs.
I think we want to explain that, I think we'll.
Okay, well, instead of setting a pole on Mr. Johnson's side of the street in front of number 1186, we propose now to relocate a pole that's already on the street 53 feet to the south. And it's a little more work, it's a little more expense, but it will give us something to anchor Mr. Johnson's service to. So,
And that works for Mr. Johnson?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and you two have discussed this matter between yourselves?
Is that number 87?
that is, let's see.
86 was in front of his house.
I should have brought my glasses in.
That's okay.
That's 80, so it will be 86. It'll be
Oh,
pole
okay.
86.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And pole 86 will be moving 53 feet south. What it does is it makes the spans rather uneven in that area.
Right.
But when we use a taller pole, we're still able to span the distances on both sides.
Not,
So,
not what so much of a
right,
say.
not so much saying, so,
Yeah.
so we can do it.
Okay.
I did have to run it by my supervisor.
Yeah. That's
He agreed to it.
Great.
good.
So,
Good.
If I remember right, the last time we were here, there was a concern with a tree.
Yes.
Has that been resolved? or-
Well, Rich, you might want to
The
explain it.
service wire is actually attached to this very, very large oak that's on the corner of Mr. Johnson's property. It's out in the street. I can't tell, if it's, how much of it's in the street and how much of it's,
On
might be on private property. But
Yeah.
the trunk is so enormous, I would imagine it's on both.
Yeah,
Private and public property. So we will be taking the service wire out of that tree. And that would clear the way for
so you can get.
anything that must be done to the tree
Yeah,
to make.
Is that tree live?
That's for the tree warden to decide. He's looked at it once and decided it should come down. I spoke with him again today. He couldn't join us tonight, but he will look at it again.
Okay, just keep us informed if you could, Mr. Johnson.
Sure.
On the status of that tree.
I will.
So that tree does have a very, very large trunk that's basically in the stone wall, I would say. A lot of it's in the stone wall there.
So you were happy with the proposal that Richard's come up with?
I am. This takes the pole away from, it puts it on the other side of the street, so I don't have to worry about it interfering with the driveway or the snow that may pile up from anyone that's got to plow the driveways, although we had a pretty easy winter this year, thank goodness.
One in a row.
We'll take it. So I think it's a
Good.
good solution.
Rich, I'd like to thank you and pass along to your supervisors for working with the homeowner and the town on this subject. It seems that, I know it's a little bit more work for you guys, but you kind of did it to kind of satisfy the resident, the customers, and I appreciate it.
And we had a problem there because we were in the tree,
Right.
you know?
Right.
It's not something we ever want to do, so
No.
it's not our policy today to keep them in the tree when we find out that, so.
All right, thank you. So a motion? to
Make a
move on?
motion
Yep.
that we take pole 86 and move it 53 feet to the south in compliance with the needs of National Grid and Mr. Johnson.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much, both of you. Really appreciate that. Glad it got resolved.
Good teamwork.
Super.
All righty, next approval of the minutes.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of January 31st, 2012,
So,
May 22nd, 2013, February 10th, 2016 as amended, and March 2nd of 2016.
I seconded except for March 2nd when I wasn't there, so I'm going to abstain from that one.
All right, I'll second it.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
And also, executive session minutes. April 6th, May 18th, June 2nd, June 15th, and June 23rd of 2015.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty, public comment if there is any. Okay.
Sam did contact me earlier today, and he wanted to speak on
But it wasn't
something,
on, I wasn't on the agenda, so it's okay.
But if you wanted to speak on your
Public
public comment
comment.
about that, it'd probably be an appropriate time for it.
No, that's okay, because I'm not prepared. I looked at the agenda and I didn't see my name there and I didn't come prepared, so.
Okay.
But thank you for asking.
All righty, town administrator's report.
A few things on the agenda to report on. Update on the community compact. As you're aware, we have 3 best practices the town is implementing as part of our community compact agreement with the state, and which are underway. They're creating the capital plan, creating a written disaster recovery plan, and regionalizing the town planner position. The Collins Center has received responses from all the departments about their capital needs, and in the coming months, we'll issue a draft report that we will review the Selectmen and Finance Committee, and well in advance of our annual town meeting. We have scheduled a conference call with Mass IT, the state agency that's handling, helping us put together a written disaster recovery plan. It will be our 2nd meeting, and that's on March 16th. For our regional planner position, district local technical assistance funding is paying for the cost of utilizing CMRPC's planner Eric Smith for shared regional planner services, and he's been holding office hours on Mondays when the planning board's assistant has office hours, and attending their bi-monthly meetings. Also, because we are a community compact town, we were eligible to apply for an IT grant, and our new IT director, Adam Suzar, submitted a grant request on February 29th for equipment costs totaling $68,000, approximately a little more than that, and we should hear in the next couple of months about this grant request.
Excellent.
Awesome. That is good.
Next, CMRPC. We're involved in a number of projects with CMRPC right now. They just released a new community indicators project where they can provide assistance for up to 5 towns that would want to participate in this program, and it's to integrate healthy community design into municipal planning. So if that's something we're interested in, we need to let them know right away, because there are more than 5 communities who would like to participate.
I think that's a great idea.
Anything, please?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we send in necessary paperwork to CMRPC for the indicators project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And CMRPC is also assisting us with applying for the Complete Streets funding. And we have a meeting scheduled on March 14th with our regional planner, Dan Deniska from CMRPC, Dennis from Planning Board, Rich from the Select Board Superintendent, and the DPW Superintendent and myself. And I've submitted a draft policy to them that we'll review at that meeting, and then we'll do a follow-up meeting with the full Select Board and Planning Board to review that. And move on to the next, because there's 3 tiers that we have to get before we get. The second tier is the technical assistance funding, and we need a policy adopted for that. That's an update on that. And they are also assisting us with a bicycle rack program. We have, Town of Barre is allotted up to $970 to purchase bicycle rack equipment.
Right, okay.
And I sent out an email to the appropriate departments. I've heard back from the library, they are interested. Charlie Miller from the Rec Commission is going to look into how many they would like to purchase. So we have to purchase, we have to submit one request for the equipment. It's through an approved vendor. So there's designated costs for various types of bicycle racks. And we're responsible for the installation and shipping
Yeah,
costs.
right, exactly.
So we will be taking advantage of that.
Did Paul Cranston call you? Because I was wondering if they wanted some bike racks near, Becky's area and that whole common area right there. So I think if you talk to Paul about that, I think that would be a good thing too.
We did talk about that.
Yeah.
I was at the Selectmen Planning Meeting in Rutland when we talked about the bicycle rack program. I couldn't hear you, Heather, but did it say something along the lines that we had to pay for something up front and then they reimbursed us or something?
We pay for the equipment and they reimburse us.
Yep.
Yeah, but we are responsible solely for the shipping and installation costs.
That's a good deal.
Okay. Did you have anything else to add to that for things,
That,
Central
no,
Mass
basic.
Regional Plan?
One thing that came in today from CMRPC, I think they do this annually, is to do a count throughout town about where we see regional bicycle and pedestrian count.
Oh, okay.
So we have to pick certain locations where we may think there is an increased use by bicyclists and pedestrians
When do you want that info?
by April 15th.
And that is the info you're gonna get it from the select board?
Yes, with the locations.
Okay.
But I think we can also discuss this as part of the Complete Streets.
Yes.
I think it would tie in well
Yep.
with that.
Yep.
So we can discuss that at our Complete Streets meetings too.
That'd be good.
Mr. Chairman, we've got a few members from the planning board going to that at Holy Cross.
I saw that. That's great.
Which one? Which meeting?
Which meeting?
There's a meeting, I forget which date it is, it's a series of classes at Holy Cross. And one of the classes is at Complete Streets. I know I signed up for that one. I think you could choose like four different
I
classes.
think Doug Martin is going with you
Yeah.
on that one.
Him and I are gonna carpool.
There was also, at the last meeting that I went to in Worcester, there was also, they're just talking about $50 million. They're giving $200 more million concerning Chapter 90 monies that's coming in. $50 million is going to go to town-owned bridges, which are less than 20 feet wide. They're going to be looking at that in the state. Of course, it inspects all the state bridges and everything. So that's something that'll be happening in the future too, to look at some of our smaller bridges and what's going on with those. And they've allocated more money to that statewide, just to let you know that.
Next to report on is an upcoming auction of some town-owned parcels. 453 North Brookfield Road. It has a unfinished house on it. We will be combining in that deed, there's an adjacent parcel to it it made sense to combine the two, given the size of that lot, and that it would have required a shared driveway. So instead of doing that, we'll be combining those two. Parcel on Cutler Road, it has a, we're gonna call it a house on it, but it would need to be demolished, but that's a 4+ acre parcel that will be auctioned, and a parcel building lot on North Brookfield Road as well. And that auction will be April 13th.
How much land altogether is on that
April
450?
13th,
April 13th.
13th. Did you say, Kath, I'm sorry?
I was wondering about 453 North Brookfield Road, how much land altogether was that?
I think, well, the initial with the house on it was 800 feet, so it's about 100.
2 acres?
Yeah. Combined, it's less than 2 acres.
Okay, less than 2
Yeah.
acres. Okay.
Sam?
These properties that will be going to auction, is there money due from all of these properties for taxes or water or utilities? So how much, of all of, because you don't know how much you're going to receive
Yes.
for the increase. So some of this money will go towards existing past due taxes and past due levies, right?
It would have to cover all the costs that the town has into it so far, including legal fees, penalties.
Cost of the auction.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
foreclosed properties. So they've gone through the full process.
So at the end of the process, the town may not be getting additional money, they'd be just getting monies due from past indebtedness.
He said, will we make any money?
And
We
returning
hope to
them
make
to the
money.
tax roll.
Yeah,
There we go.
return it, yeah.
And they would be properties that would be back on the tax rolls.
So a couple of them we should make money on sale, you know?
No,
But you never know.
I didn't know if the monies that you get from them is less than the monies due,
No,
or whether they're
No.
more, or I don't.
no.
Because you mentioned that there was a house, but then you kind of thought about it again and sort of questioned whether it was a real house or something.
No, it's unfinished.
Unfinished, right?
It's framed, it's not finished. Yeah.
So, and one of them you said might be demolished, so need to be demolished. So you'd be selling them
As is.
as is, and that someone else would have to demolish them.
Right.
Thank you.
Next thing, Berkshires to Boston tour, Jersey design. I just want to publicly thank Berkshires to Boston for using Barre as for their jerseys logo for next year. This is the final design, and it's
Nice.
has the Barre Common on their jersey, so
Oh
this
my
all their
God.
riders will be wearing that.
That is awesome.
And
That's a big flag.
I'll be putting this on
Nice.
we're having our IT guy put this on our website so people can see it.
That's pretty cool.
We'll pass that around to inspectors.
That's great.
Nice.
Maybe want to know how we can acquire one too. Those are awesome.
They
Those are
are.
awesome.
You have to ride from
Yeah,
Berkshires to Boston.
They must have come on the right day with the flag on it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to put that out when they do
Yeah.
their thing.
Yeah, nice.
Last thing I want to discuss with the board is, we've talked about in the past, is putting solar on town property.
Yeah.
And I have spoken with the Board of Health's consultant about this. I'd like to have a follow-up meeting with the Board of Health and the Select Board about this issue, because that's the site of our old dump.
Right.
So the status of that and what impact putting solar on that site would mean. Also, I know another town did this more than one time, but put a solar committee together, and it was something like Sam mentioned, and possible members, they don't have to be community residents, but like an assessor or the regional planner,
Right.
member of the planning board, member of the energy advisory committee. I wouldn't mind serving on that as well. But they would review any proposals that we received, and hopefully looking into see if there's assistance, technical assistance through DOER, to provide energy consultant to help us through the process.
I think there is too.
So why don't we put something out on the website, and maybe an article, and get a hold of Ellie, that we're looking to form this committee, and asking for volunteers to serve on it. Sam, you seem to have a lot of interest in that. You've been very vocal about that for several years, so.
I've been very vocal for several
You
years.
seem to have a lot of information about that, so if there's a chance you can get on that board, and maybe we can get some of that stuff accomplished.
Yeah, there are a lot of other people here in town who have a lot of
Oh,
knowledge, even more so than I.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that, put it out there, and
Yeah, I would.
see what happens.
I'd like to speak to that, if I may, regarding what I've understood thus far. Someone mentioned that there's also some town land on Pleasant Street someplace. Now, I don't know.
That's where the tower is.
I don't know, but someone mentioned in one of the meetings. But I don't know much about it, exactly where it is or what it is. As far as Town Farm Road, what I understand is that the dump was closed, but it wasn't covered properly, according to some regulations. And that would need to be covered before anything was to be put on top of it.
That's an awful big area, Sam. It may not even encroach on to where the old dump was, because when you drove into the dump,
I've never been there.
okay, so you drove off a town farm, you drove down a couple thousand feet, maybe a couple thousand feet, 1,500 feet down the road. There was a big bank, and everybody threw stuff over the bank, the old bit, all right? But there is a ton of land uphill from that doesn't even,
Behind the senior center.
huh?
Goes behind,
It
all the way
goes up-
behind the senior
Yeah,
center.
it goes all the way out to beyond the senior center. So there's a big chunk of land up there. It probably wouldn't even affect that one area. That's something the Board of Health, like Heather says,
Correct.
has to get involved in. But hopefully, it doesn't encroach anyway onto that property, you know. That
It's about
whole-
170 acres.
Also
Yeah.
on the other side of the road.
On both sides of the road, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it is on both sides of the road.
I think the parcel on the other side of the road would be too small, it's only 4 acres.
Oh, yeah.
But the one on the tower is 170, so.
170 acres.
I would like to respond about that area.
Sure.
Something that I just heard is that there's a tower there
Yep,
that Heather mentioned to me where,
it's a cell tower,
the
yeah.
cell tower, where you folks, the town, gets compensated a certain amount per month, per
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
And I understand the lease is going to be expiring this year sometime.
No,
So I don't know when it is. I've been told that the lease might be expiring soon, whatever that is.
there's a 20-year agreement.
Someone mentioned this year, whether it's accurate, I don't know. But if it's a long agreement, then this isn't an issue. But if it isn't a long agreement, we need to figure out how to get the company to remove this if it's no longer going to be paid for. So I don't know how many years. If it's 20 years, the person that I spoke to thought it was 10 years, but maybe not. I don't know. It's just something that I heard in passing.
I haven't reviewed that lease myself, Sam, but generally, there is a takedown clause in there. You know, but I can't say there is because I haven't reviewed it.
And who knows, they might be willing to
And they may even sell it to another company and they'll,
extend the lease.
or extend the lease, so. But good
We
point.
certainly have plenty of acres of land beyond that. anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't
Right.
take up very big of an area.
Correct. It's a very small area.
Dennis?
I know the regional planner's been up at the property already looking around, so he's already checking in stuff.
Yep, and I've spoken to him about it as well. I've spoken to him about it as well.
Alrighty. Old business. The Braintree on the, whoop, that's all set. Sorry, Pat. MOU with the Braintree, Heather, for our EMS services.
We're gonna table that for tonight's meeting. Jim Baird had additional comments that I'll be submitting to
Okay.
Braintree.
The Employee Safety Handbook. This was brought up, I don't know, well over a year ago. We looked into this. It's been a handbook that's been in place for quite a while. And we just did some upgrading and cleaned it up more or less. So you want to give us an update? I know you've had some meetings with town personnel.
There were, last meeting we did approve it, but before it's sent out to the departments, there were a few things that were raised that I think require additional commentary.
Okay.
And I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
going off memory, there was something about safety shoes requiring to brush fires. That was one question. If it's a requirement, then the town would have to fund the purchase of that for the entire fire department. Which to remember.
Yep, one was, I believe it was the use of gloves when operating the chainsaw. There was conflict with that. And I'm trying to think of the third one.
We can table this for night, and I can grab my copy. I can
Sure.
go over them. And I know some residents are here.
You can also, when looking at this, we could also look at the other towns who are much like our towns, that it's really volunteer in many cases, and then just see exactly what they do, to handle a situation like this. Just usually when we're talking about full-time people, when we're talking about a lot of some of these issues. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
good.
Yeah, I think, the overall goal is we want the best safety practices for
For
our
everybody.
employees.
Yeah.
Right.
As we mentioned in the past, it's not the benefit of the town, but the town will benefit some. But like you said, it's more for the safety of our employees. We owe that to our employees, that when they show up for work, they go home for work.
Same way they came in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see these mishaps that happen on the work scene. It's probably on a weekly basis, you'll read some kind of incident that happened, whether it be trench safety or chainsaw or, people working the road, getting hit by vehicles. It's become more and more a problem. So I think it's, we owe it to them and also to protect the town too.
Correct.
So we'll revisit that at a future date, Heather.
We can, if you want to take a recess after you discuss the other things, I can.
Oh, go get it? Okay. You guys want to do that?
Sure.
Alrighty, so then we'll go on to new business. We have a request by a resident to improve the safety of Hubbardston Road, Route 62. I do believe we have these folks sitting in the hall tonight with us. You guys want to come up forward and tell us what your thoughts are and go from there. How's it going tonight? Can you introduce yourselves, please?
My name is Kristen Kaminsky.
My name is Michael Lowell.
We both live on 46 Deer Run Circle.
We've lived in this town for quite a while, and we absolutely loved it, so we settled down 2 years ago and we bought a house. Unfortunately, it's off of 62. I ended up driving through that accident before they shut the road down, and I saw everything, and I can't get that image out of my head. It's really heartbreaking, and the fact that there's already so many crosses along the road, and like you said, all the unmarked graves there, it's scary. I try to avoid it like the plague in the winter. I spoke to the chief, I spoke to George, and I spoke to DPW about what the rules and regulations would be to put out a sign and everything, and they told me, it's gonna be 10 feet in from the road, no more than 25 feet in total. So I tried to do the best I could, but unfortunately my multiple sclerosis flared up, so creating the sign didn't work out as well as I planned, but I'm gonna call this a rough draft. I would like permission to be able to make a couple of these, and only in the Barre area, not Hubbardston, but I would like to put them along 62. I was told to use bright paint so it can be seen at night, and I'd like to make the letters a little bit bigger and bolder. Those were the only stencils that I could come up with at Walmart. They didn't have any big regular ones, but I would like, your approval to be able to just bring more notice, because I see the crosses and I thought those were the only deaths, and then you filled me in, and it's terrible.
I see accidents on that road all the time, and there's always people, I go the speed limit sometimes 5 over, and I get passed on that road almost every day. It's scary driving on that road, even without the winter conditions, so. I've been a first responder to another accident, and luckily the girl was wearing her seatbelt. Another 16-year-old girl, car upside down in the woods. I just happened to be there. I was on my way to the dentist in Rutland, and I had to get out and call 911. It was increase your blood pressure a little bit,
It's very scary. I also have a son that's going to be starting driver's ed soon, and that's another big caution to me. So I would like to make them more yellow and not be able to see the green.
I was thinking of getting sheet metal, that way the bright yellow color comes out a little more solid than the wood tends to absorb the paint pretty good. So.
I think it's an excellent idea. The only question in my mind, that's a marked route, it's Route 62, it's not like James Street or something like that. I don't know if it would have to meet DOT specs. That's something you can find out though. Pick a phone call, basically, I don't have an objection, as long as you go that route. Richie, what are your thoughts? You work on highway.
I would just like, that's a great idea, because I know the state has supplied the town with some of the signs that are out there. For the state road, but we have to maintain it.
Yes, but it doesn't, the signs don't really do justice to how dangerous that road really is.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
Not
the
there,
state
right.
has gave signs for that road, so that shows that they have some type of say or something on that road. And I just would like Jim Beer's take on it, because I don't know how true it is, but I was told a few years ago that when you put up a sign similar to this, like dangerous intersection, I've been told that the town can be held liable, because you're just telling the people there's a dangerous intersection ahead. Why don't you fix the dangerous intersection? So I need
fix that road though.
It's
It's too windy and uphill and downhill.
The speed limit is not, I think the speed limit is perfectly okay. It's the inexperienced drivers driving in the winter conditions, that's the problem.
Right.
So, you know, how do you fix that?
You know, there's been some experienced drivers over
Oh, yeah, I've
down in the
lost
woods
control
too.
of my car on that
Yeah.
road. Luckily,
Yeah.
I was able to correct it and
Right.
keep going, but.
I lost control in second gear going 20 miles an hour myself,
Mhm.
trying to go up the hill. So
I
it's
worked on the
bad.
highway department in town for about 35 years, and that road is, it's a very tricky road. That road was like the day of the accident. The road's pretty much bare, but you have spots, and I can bring you out there, and you guys probably know them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, say, well, over here's gonna be a little slick once you press this little knob, and it is, on the
Yeah.
road's crossing.
Yeah.
Gonna be a little, the other part of the road is fine,
Yeah.
and you get up towards, go past the second brook,
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know, they
I was
put
gonna
you
say
started
the
to
same
lean
thing.
Barre up that grade, right in the vicinity of that horrible crash.
Mm.
There's another tough spot.
Mhm.
And we have a person in the audience, Lieutenant Fleming, who's reached out to some of the politicians about removing some of the trees to
I
let
saw
more
that.
sunshine in
Thank
these
you.
colder areas.
Thank you.
I think I answered your comment on Facebook from some resident.
Some
Okay, yeah.
lady, yes, that was
That-
you,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, because I understood what you just said,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's gotta be the guy.
Was she older than you?
Well, what, you wanted to remove trees?
No,
Oh,
on Facebook, the
'cause-
police department had posted something about the accident. He posted, what he just actually said to you about him
Yeah.
having been an EMT and,
Right.
people should slow down on that road, and I won't say who the person was, but we all know who it was,
Yeah.
made real derogatory comments towards us. I mean, like,
Towards
and
him
went
as
all
well.
over the Facebook page with it. It was-
My
She
comment
was
was
degrading
about, my
towards
comment
me.
was about safety, and she went into my Facebook profile and found out that some of my hobbies are unsafe and decided to attack me on that.
Has nothing to do with the issue.
Exactly. I'm very safe when I do my dangerous hobbies, and that's my decision.
So I've taken on your sign, you want these folks to check with Mass DOT about erecting it?
They can, or?
No, I can put in the call.
Can you?
And I was
Yeah.
told that the sign will have to be staked into the ground, so
Yeah.
I was thinking of using 4x4 posts and screwing it all in really good, and then taking the 4x4 posts and put them in the 5-gallon buckets of concrete, and then just bury those into the ground.
You said you touched base with the DPW superintendent on this?
I spoke to, well, I walked into DPW and I said, I'm looking for either a man or a woman in charge, and there was a very nice gentleman at the counter, and he said, well, what can I do for you, you know, how can I help you? And I said, well, I'm here to make a change, and he
Yeah.
said, I like that, what's going on? And I told him that I spoke to George, the chief and everything, and that I needed to address it here, but I was just looking to make sure I had his approval as well.
Yeah, well.
I can't remember his name, I'm
When
sorry.
you go to erect, if it comes down to erecting the sign, which I hope it does for you, you should get a hold of Jason Pimento, he's the DPW superintendent.
He can give you the placement,
Yeah,
the distance off, someplace where it's not
Is
gonna
he
get
a
hit by
young
snow.
gentleman with dark hair?
Yep.
I believe that's who I spoke to.
yeah. So you can check with him.
Okay.
No, after we, in the meantime, now though, just run this by Jim Beard, get his take
Yeah.
on it, and we'll go from there. So,
How many signs were you thinking of doing?
I was thinking maybe 2 or 3 going
Okay.
each way,
Okay.
just to make it known.
Okay,
I'd like to preferably do it before the downgrade.
Right.
or
Where
like
the
the bad
40,
corner.
45 zone is.
Yes.
Because the 30 zone, you know, if you're not doing 30 and you hit something, you know,
Yes.
it's your own
It's
fault.
gonna be your fault.
Now, this, you're not gonna be putting these on private property, correct?
Oh, no, no, no,
Town
no.
property, that's
Town
why it
property,
comes to
right
town.
along,
Yeah.
10 feet in.
You know
But
what?
the DPW superintendent can also give you a state layout for the width of that road.
Yeah,
Figure out, maybe you can help us figure out the best places to
Yeah.
put them.
Correct.
Because we don't want people to complain, oh, the sign's in front of my house
Yeah.
and things like that.
Can't
We
see
don't
where
want
behind
that
this
at all.
intersection,
Yeah.
et cetera,
Mhm.
et cetera.
yeah, for placement and for exactly where it should go,
yeah.
DPW should be inside.
So if you check with,
Jason
yeah,
Pimento.
you check with
DOT,
DOT,
yeah.
okay? get their take on it, whatever it is, contact the town administrator, contact Heather, let her know, yes, no, maybe, or whatever the answer is. And then she can relay it through the chain from there.
And in the meantime, we'll run it by our town council, get his take on recommend, cover
Yeah.
everybody's backside.
Right.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam?
I have a question. These folks are gonna be paying out-of-pocket money for
I don't
this.
want any money,
So this-
I just want to do it out of the kindness of my heart, because seeing those children, I just want to do something to help.
Good for you.
I don't want any reimbursement.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all set? Next is the request by a resident.
What was her name? I don't know what her name is.
Excuse me?
How do you?
Kristen, K-R-I-S-T-E-N, Kaminsky, K-A-M-I-N-S-K-I.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys both signed in correctly?
Yes.
All set?
Thank
Okay,
you.
next, we have a request by a resident for the selectmen to request a 9/11 artifact in New York, New Jersey Port Authority. Dennis, I think that this is your deal.
You think? Got my name on it? Several years ago, the board, select board, I approached about something for a memorial on the common. And at that time, I tried to obtain something from, or made inquiry in obtaining something from the Twin Towers. When that request went in, it was at a time that they stopped giving out things, and what they had left was all contaminated. They weren't gonna let anybody have it, so missed out. 2 months ago, I just happened to see an article about the Port Authority was letting go of everything that was in a warehouse they were storing. And I mean, they have unbelievable stuff in it, trolley cars, fire trucks, you name it, from the World Trade Center, I almost said disaster attacks. And basically, I reached out to them, and they requested that the town send an official request to them. And at this point, because of how quickly this stuff gets gobbled up, I mean, they've already got people going there with trailer trucks taking trolley cars away and all that. All I'm looking for, and nothing has been decided on what artifact, but basically it's just a piece of metal to be implemented into a foundation perhaps somewhere later on down the road for a memorial for the Iran, Afghanistan, and 9/11, which we would form a committee and, involve everybody in. But all that's being requested now is if the town would write a letter to this authority and say, yes, we would like an artifact, then we could decide on what it was. And if we get the item before everybody else might get it, we could keep it in storage someplace.
Sure.
Nothing big, I mean,
Yeah.
just a small piece of steel, which it's amazing the amount of towns that have done that, cities and.
Ware has two pieces of steel from the trade
Okay.
center. One in front of the new fire station and one
With that,
where
by
they,
Friendlies?
I think it's by friend. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
You know what, I never knew what that was.
Yeah, but they have two, so it's
Yeah.
not, an uncommon thing.
Right. But that's basically what I was looking,
Okay. So you need us to approve the letter so it can get sent off?
Can I just ask, you already have an idea of where you'd like it to go?
no,
Okay.
none of that.
Just-
I figured when go through the select board and get a little committee of, kind of like what they've done probably in the past with the other monuments, like the Vietnam Memorial and World War II one and all that.
Yep.
So
Any idea, Dennis, that, like, when you send this letter out, have you talked to this Mike lady? And you can specify, we we don't want a trolley car.
No, he knows that we're just looking for a small piece of steel.
And that was good by him.
Yeah.
That was only my concern, you know, just how big of a,
Right.
No, nothing.
and how do we go about getting it?
Either go get it or have it shipped. And we do that through private funding.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need to take it right away? Okay. Great, then make a motion and we send in an official request for the article.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I ask a question?
Yep. go
Dennis,
ahead.
do you have to be a municipality to do that, or?
It has to be a nonprofit.
Okay.
I imagine a church or
Legion.
anybody like Legion, yeah.
Good idea, Dennis, nice job.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I figured we'd, get somebody from the select board, probably Tony Woznicki, somebody from the Legion, whoever, historical. They may even want a piece for the historical society, I don't know. Something to put in their building, something smaller. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're all set with that. Next, we have some wage authorization forms, a couple of them. One is from the fire department for an employee named Shane Peterson. Position firefighter, auxiliary fireman. His hourly salary would be $12.73. This is the new hire.
I'll make a motion with grant request.
Thank you, Dennis. Second it.
All in favor? Aye. Next is from the fire department also, a new hire, employee's named Jacob Pachowski, firefighter, auxiliary fireman at the same rate of pay of $12.73.
I'll make the motion with grant that.
Second it.
All in favor?
So we're on the subject of fire department. Heather, can you get us copies of the job description for the fire chief and the assistant fire chief positions? So we can look them over?
We just have them put in that folder, so.
Yeah, that would be fine.
That was on my list.
We can go in.
Request to use town property. Reserve the Selectmen's Meeting room from Ellen Glidden on Saturday, March 12th from 1:15 to 2:15 for a wedding ceremony. That's what the paper says.
That one marrying somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Is she?
Yep.
Cool.
I'll make a motion we grant Ellen's request.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have one from the Circle of Song. For a spring concert, food will be served. They're estimating 100 to 125 people. And they will be doing it at the town hall on 5/12/16, Thursday and Saturday, 5/14/2016.
I'll make a motion we grant the request, just, if you could, Heather, just have George check the occupancy in that building. So we don't go over, so then go over the occupancy rate. I don't know what it is. Could be
It's
full.
150.
How much is
I think
it?
it's 150.
Oh, okay, all right, as long as they know that. So I'll make the motion to grant the request from the
Second.
town hall.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a application from the Circle of Song for a place a sign on the town common. It was the spring concert, so it's in the same
timeframe?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the same time, but they want to put the sign up. Yeah, from 5/1
Yeah.
to 5/15. And they filled out the paperwork on this, so they know what we require of them.
Yep.
Size of it, distance from the road, etc.
As long as all these people know that there's construction going to be going on down there.
When I send them a reply that it's been approved, I'll let them know
Yeah,
that it may impact the
Yeah.
signage.
yeah, and not only the signage, their events
Yep.
too.
Sure,
Faith, would you?
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Second. That you gave a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The sign that's there now is just, it's set back far enough, it's big enough, it looks just right in that area that's right there.
Well, the good thing is you don't have people coming this way across the common anymore, so nobody's trying to
Yeah.
look that way.
Right. It does work.
So you want to take a little break, Heather, you're going to run up and get the handbook?
Sure, just very common, there was a meeting today, I just wanted to
Yeah.
give an update on that.
Absolutely.
It was a meeting at the bank with the businesses around comments and corporate public officials about phase 3, which because of the short winter season we've experienced this year, they're gonna start phase 3 at the end of next week. And the roads that will be in phase 3 are Exchange Street in front of Becky's Bistro, that block
Mhm.
that will be closed off. Broad Street, Park Street, Grove Street, and a portion of School Street North. And I asked Adam, our IT director, he put on the website already a map of phase 3, so people can see
Where it's
the
gonna
affected
happen.
portions.
Yeah.
And
Good. And they're gonna start soon,
the end of next week.
End of
and next week. Good?
And the state went out after the meeting because there was a concern of how people are gonna get into Becky's Bistro and that whole block of 5 buildings.
Yeah.
So what they're gonna, they first were gonna shut it off on that side, because coming up Summer Street, they're gonna build a wall.
Right.
They're thinking of the machine and building the wall, how they're gonna do it safety-wise. But they figured that they could make it work so that people could still, with barrels around it, still move in to the right to go into Becky's and go into the liquor store and to
Yeah.
go into the
Coffee,
Barre,
pizza.
right, in the Barre Gazette office, and then go out, at Mechanic Street. Because
Yes.
if we had to have people change again and put the signs down for do not enter and let them
Yeah.
enter in that way, it's been such a hassle to teach people
To go-
not to take a
Yeah,
left at the top of
exactly.
Mechanic Street. So
Exactly.
they're trying to make that work. And the whole thing will be, phase 3 should be done by the end of June, before school gets out. That's what the goal is.
Yeah, well, they've been good so far, they're ahead of time as it is.
Yep.
So I don't have any doubts that they'll stay on track.
Yep.
There was discussion about the signage. They will be taking down the extra signs at the intersection.
Thank you.
They're working on the pool still.
Yes.
Yeah,
See,
And getting all those.
yeah, because one of the, like National Grid had their days to take it down, but then, after their days,
Verizon
then they
and
have another
Shard.
30 days, and then the next group has another 30 days. So it's
Right.
not like it all had to be taken down
Yeah,
within 55 days. Each group had X amount of days to
Right.
take it down.
right.
So they are certainly talking to them, because one of them has nothing on it anymore.
Oh,
At
there's
the- right across
several,
from-
several,
yeah,
several.
right.
The one across from the library doesn't have
Correct.
anything, the one in the.
Yep.
the-
Picasso's.
Picasso's, one in front of the building, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're pretty much all empty, the ones that
Yeah.
come out.
So they're working on it, they said.
Good.
Great. And there's discussion about truck traffic.
Yeah.
They might try to implement getting truck traffic routed through Valley Road.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
that
There's a lot,
direction, so
what
people get
happens,
used to that.
what happens is a lot of them follow 62 to the center of town, go
Correct.
right back down 122
Correct.
to go, the leaders and points. whatever.
Yeah, they follow the GPS or whatever.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, but, you know, Keith, who is Chapel Engineering's lawyer,
Yeah.
I think that's Sam's,
Can you
correct?
play music? Can you turn that?
No, someone was ringing me and I put my hand over it to shut it off.
Okay.
Can hear music. that's
Yeah.
fine.
And
I did have a question also.
Yeah, I
Keith had
saw your hand up.
Keith had a good comment. You know what he said is, you know, like, tell people when they get frustrated and they get upset that this was not made to be a highway
No.
through, it was made to slow everyone down
Yep.
because it's the center of a town
Correct.
common.
Correct.
And that's really what it's all about.
Just
You know,
slow it
the
down to make it safe.
Safety,
Yeah,
that's the
right. And to
purpose.
put people in a direction that everybody's in, instead of people coming out of here, going over there,
Yeah,
coming
that's
this way,
it.
going that way.
That's it.
That's right, yeah.
Safety is, that's why we got all this money.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's safety, that was the first important consideration, so that's what people have to think of when they become a little frustrated.
Yeah, Sam, your question?
Yeah, I'm voicing this from friends of mine who drive big trucks. And they mentioned coming up the street where P&F Auto is, P&F,
Mhm.
in order to make that right turn, it doesn't seem, I don't drive a truck, so I don't know, I drive a car, and it's fine for me, but they claim that to make that turn with a tractor trailer is very, extremely difficult, and I don't know whether you folks have already
I can't,
discussed it.
no, I can't.
He means Mechanic Street.
Well,
He means Mechanic
It's
Street.
gotta be
That-
Mechanic
that is a-
Street,
That is
yeah.
a tough thing.
Because if you come
It's
up
been
School
talked about.
Street, that's not a big deal.
No, I'm just thinking about the.
Mechanic Street.
P&F is Mechanic Street?
No,
No,
that's School
that's School
Street.
Street.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
but-
maybe it's the next.
yeah, yeah, we have discussed that. Sam,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's what Heather just said, that
Yeah.
they're looking into diverting them trucks instead of coming up Mechanic Street,
Go down Valley
go
Road,
up
not
Valley Road to the
122.
IGA and then come up.
Yeah,
If they're going north, or they can go.
Yeah.
I guess the trucks are confused because of what they've used to be,
Yeah.
what they used to be doing.
Well, I was on the common the other morning, and a gentleman, I do believe it was two-way truck. Excuse me?
I believe right now.
Kathy, can you help that lady? Please? Yeah, the little truck came up there, and I was watching, and he had a 50-something foot trailer, he was hauling that ash. So I watched him, I'm like, oh boy, this is a test, it's one of the longest ones I've seen. And he came up Mechanic Street, he turned, and he came over by the North Common. So I got out of my truck, and I just put my hand up and I stopped, and he said, Jason, he says, oh, you just watch this, how'd you make out over there? He said, all right, he said, but he has to swing way on the other side,
Yeah.
which is okay because there's no traffic, it's one way.
exactly, right.
Correct.
So,
Right,
but he
right.
said, you know, I drove for this company for a long time, he said, and, you know, I've been through this town many a times.
Mm.
He said, it is a pain in the
Yeah,
butt. I'm like,
right.
yeah, imagine it is. But he didn't, he made it through there, and I was very surprised, and I told him about what they're thinking of this detour, and
Yeah.
he said, oh, he thought that would be a
Better
pretty
deal.
good idea,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And,
We get to the top of the hill and
another
it's too
problem
late.
they're gonna be facing, I don't know if it was addressed today, is trailer trucks coming this way, is also give them signage in the center to go down to the IGA
Yeah,
and take a left on Valley to go to 62, because if they try to turn,
Oh.
like
Good
across
point.
South Street,
yeah.
Good point.
They gotta
they
make
could go,
it.
no, we're not making
They're
it.
not gonna make it.
See,
They will come right up on the curb on both sides. So
Yeah.
the back tires will be on the curb when they make the turn,
Yep.
and the front tires will probably be.
Over the other side. Yeah, no, that's true.
yeah, when they were talking about the signs, what they were saying was that, of course, the state's there, you know, at the meeting.
Yeah.
So they're listening, that do the first sign at Sunrise Ave, just to say
Exactly.
detour truck traffic,
Yeah.
take a left onto 122.
Right,
Because when you get down to that intersection,
it's too late then.
it's too late then, and
Right.
Yeah.
On top of that, you know, that it's coming down grade.
Yeah,
that's it.
So all of a sudden it's like, ooh.
That's it.
yeah.
And you have to be going very slow there at that intersection.
Yeah,
the turn left for
to
the
make
trailer
that
truck.
turn, yeah.
I remember, like, about a year ago, there was a fellow, I happened to be coming down Mechanic Street for some reason, and there was a fellow in a gigantically long truck, and he was literally stopped just as he was beginning, because he saw what he was going to encounter.
Yeah,
So I drove down to the bottom of the hill at the intersection, and I had my four-way flashes on, and he backed up
yeah.
the whole way, you know, and I just used the flashes just so, you know, it would be somewhat safe for him to do that, and then he made the turn down to 122.
Right.
Because it's such a difficult road to go
Of
up.
course it is. It always
Such a
has
tough
been,
road.
it always
Yeah.
has been.
Right.
So do you folks want to look at that, or?
I think we're gonna put it off to the next meeting, but yeah, unless you two want to
Well,
go through
I
that.
thought she was going to just look at a few more issues with it, just
Yeah.
to see, because that's what I thought was gonna happen, you know, with that.
Yeah, if you want to take a brief recess, I'll grab.
Yeah, we can do that.
Is this meeting over now?
We have one more thing
We're
to
just
do.
gonna talk about safety.
She has to get her booklet,
It's on the General Safety Handbook.
and then it'll be wrapped up.
So the first issue that we had already discussed briefly was the safety shoes or steel-toed work boots worn by employees whose job responsibilities are public works or public safety. The fire chief raised a concern that requiring these regulation shoes, the town would be responsible for paying for that cost.
And they have boots that are issued to them now with their turnout gear. The turnout gear consists of boots that are duly with steel-toed and steel shank, bunker pants, coat, helmet. They do have can't remember what they call it. It's like a hoodie thing that goes over your head, covers your back and side. They have gloves. But this is to deal with brush fires. Because in that handbook it says that all town employees, correct, Helen?
Public works and public safety.
Public safety employees have to wear steel-toed boots, which that's how it's been at the DPW for a long time.
Right.
So now he's bringing up the question of, do these firemen have to wear these at a brush fire? And if so, we need to supply them. Which is the case when you implement a policy like that. So that's the dilemma that we're facing with them.
So question, if they are, if they have steel-toed boots that are issued to them for fires, could they wear those boots at a brush fire?
Not really, Kathy. Those boots are, see, before we were issued boots, they were a regular hip boot.
Yes.
That go down, and had handles that come up.
Yes.
Yeah. Now the boots are shorter. They're only probably like this tall. And it's actually part of the bunker pants. You put your boots up. When you get down to the station, you put your gear on. When you go put your feet in them boots, your pants are already there, so you just pull the suspenders up.
Oh,
You're
okay.
already in the boots. And those wouldn't be, they would probably be very hot and very awkward to be working a brush fire with those boots. So we have to come up with a solution of, we determine that, you look at how many brush fires do they actually attend a year. I think the fire chief had thrown out a figure of $21,000 to something. This is what I've heard. $12,000.
Real long,
Yeah, that's, 40 firemen roughly they have, I believe.
Right, yeah, between 40 and 45 they have.
So we have to come up with some kind of solution of how we're going to approach this with the firefighters.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Because frequently, like, at any given time, there's certainly not 45 people going out to be a part of a brush fire.
Right.
So how do we look at that? So
And
let's,
a brush fire is a lot different than a house fire.
Yeah.
Correct.
There is danger involved, but,
Yeah.
not like a structure fire.
correct,
Or a hazardous scene,
right.
something like that. So we need to come up with a solution on how we're going to deal with those boots.
Can I just ask, how now, when they go to a brush fire, how are they equipped?
I haven't been a fireman for a few years. When I was a fireman, we weren't mandated back then to wear them hip boots because they were too damn hot and bulky. We just wore our regular, whatever we wore.
Okay, whatever you got to the
But
fire.
we did get issued years ago a jumpsuit for fire,
Okay,
brush fires.
yep,
And those things were kind of, because what usually happens is when you would respond to brush fires, you probably usually would end up destroying your clothes,
oh, okay,
because you would go,
yep,
Yeah,
with
whatever
a
they have
razor and
on.
a pair of boots,
yep,
to go respond to them fires.
yep,
Because you can't expect them gentlemen to be using their
correct.
bunker pants and their fire coats, because
Yes,
we have
correct,
heat exhaustion.
correct.
So that was, I do believe they were fire retardant, but I think most of it was, the concern was, the firemen were ruining their clothes and getting
Oh, yeah.
them back then, we would get paid $9 an hour.
Right, I know.
So,
So we need to look at this.
Yeah.
All right,
We could reach out to some of the area departments, maybe.
see how they handle it.
Yep.
Yep, great.
So would we exclude that bullet point for now?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Another revision I'd like to make, there was reference to safety lenses under that same section, and the fire chief brought up about if we're requiring them to wear safety lenses, then the town should provide those as well. So if we change it to eye protection, I think that might cover us. They're not,
They
you
can
know,
wear goggles or whatever they have
Yeah.
to wear.
it's
Okay.
at least,
Yeah, some protection. All right, so I make a motion that we move that and change that
I'll say.
wordage. Okay,
another one was reflective rain gear shall be worn while working in inclement weather, to change that to just reflective clothing.
Yep,
make a motion that we just change it to reflective clothing.
second.
All in favor?
Rich brought up earlier, but the gloves while using chainsaws, that was another point that was raised. That it can be considered an unsafe practice sometimes because of the bulkiness.
I think we can reach out to Maya and see if they have any guidelines. And also Mass Rural Water, I do believe, puts on those safety seminars.
Yes, yes.
Likely, you'll see the flyers once in a while in the office.
Yep.
I know they have a seminar on safety, chainsaw safety, and I'm sure they must have, we can reach out to them, I can try to do a little research to help them. Girls out, I think it's Mass Rural Water. We can get one of those flyers and
Or get Maya
contact
in
them.
here to do one on chain safety.
Well, I'm not specifically, Jason gets those. We
Yeah.
can send them in to him if he chooses. I'm interested, they must have a list that they go by, running a
Okay.
chainsaw, they're probably gonna say, you need to
Right.
wear a helmet, you need to wear chaps,
Chaps,
you
right.
need to wear eye protection, ear protection.
Right.
And their point is
protection,
saying, ear protection. They don't feel they should have to wear gloves. Well, they make different styles of gloves.
Correct.
Yeah, sure.
They
Right.
do make some similar models, I'm sure.
I would have
So
loved
just
one
my
of those.
curiosity, I'd like to see what these people who deal exactly with this chainsaw safety, what they figure, what their recommendation, protocol, whatever you want to call it is. We can go from there on that one.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah,
thought.
because I would assume
When I
that they
run,
would want gloves.
well, when I run my stop, I wear gloves.
Yes,
But I don't wear the big gloves like you wear in the winter with.
correct. That are maybe
You wear a pair of
non-maneuverable.
gloves. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
So,
So at this point, leave out gloves in that section until we find
Yeah.
out.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
That sounds all right with you guys?
yeah, that's fine.
Great,
Yeah, I
great
think
idea.
that's a good idea, isn't it?
yeah.
Get some input from the insurance and the other organizations.
Under another section, under pneumatic tools, reference wearing steel-toed boots with metatarsal protection. And that is a special boot that is very costly. So I think by just taking out metatarsal,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's so often that
just
we really
steel-toed
run into.
boots.
Right, right. Make a motion that we remove metatarsal from that phrase.
Second,
All in favor?
There is under section about transporting materials
Mhm.
using municipal vehicles or trailers, that all loads must be covered and vehicle loads should not be overloaded. The DPW superintendent said that not all of our trucks have covers.
Right.
So that would be a problem.
well, is he talking, is he
Pick up,
talking, oh, the pickup truck?
right?
Yeah, because all the bigger dump trucks, the six-wheel dump trucks,
They
they all have tops.
Yeah,
The one tons have tops.
yeah,
I think they're leaning towards the pickup trucks,
yeah.
and
So if they're picking up brush or something like that.
right. And you know, like pots of commons, they pick up
Yeah,
the grass clippings, those leaves.
right.
And how many pickups do we have that we really use to haul? We have that 5H8 truck. We have the cemetery truck. With all the 2 water trucks, they all have tools in them.
Yep.
Sewer trucks.
Sewer truck, both of those could haul material in it.
Yeah.
Jason's truck has tools in it. So it's actually really like only 3 pickups. And if you wanted to have it covered,
You can buy a top, but
it's not
it's like
very
bungee
expensive
cords.
to buy a 8x10 plastic top down.
Yeah, and some bungee cords.
But the other vehicles, it's actually DOT.
I was gonna say, doesn't DOT have a law regarding,
But I don't think, they don't really push the issue like the pickup trucks.
Yeah.
so it should just be according to what DOT?
Well, we could do
Regulates?
that too. Did you hear what Faye said?
That should require.
Maybe use whatever
In
DOT
conformance with
requirement?
in conformance with DOT requirements. Ours just says in general that it should
You covered.
totally be covered, period.
Another point raised was about pushing or towing non-municipal vehicles. And the point was raised sometimes when they're responding to an accident or something, they may have to push or tow a vehicle out of a trench.
Why would they do that? Why, we have towing companies in town to do that. I can't see any need for them to touch a private vehicle.
When that was a few years ago, you know, we would help people out.
Well, yeah.
At the time. But times have changed. So now if you hit Jordan with a town vehicle to somebody in the ditch or something,
And you damage their vehicle, then the town is liable for the bill.
correct, and somebody getting hurt while attempting to do so.
Yeah, I'd strike that word primary.
Leave it as is.
Meaning we cannot do it.
Meaning we cannot
Meaning we
do
We
it.
could tow a town-owned vehicle, like, you know, say one of the cruisers went into a ditch.
Yes, it's non-municipal.
Yeah,
And non-municipal, absolutely, I would say I agree with Leaf.
I think there's too much liability involved.
And how many times would that really happen? And if that were the case, then they'd make a phone call.
Yeah.
You know, if there was a situation and a decision was made,
You know, we have
by the
told-
police chief or the fire chief,
Yeah.
that this is a critical situation and there's no choice, there's no
There's no
choice.
I mean, if it's
You know,
something,
that's not what we're talking about.
if something is off the road so bad that you need a front-end loader to pull it out,
Right.
that's one thing. But 99% of the time, the local towing companies that the chief has on his tow list, they handle all that stuff.
Correct.
I was under about use of a mower. There was a sentence about an employee getting off a mower to remove items from the area to be moved shall face the machine at all times. But it didn't make
This doesn't make any
logistical
sense.
sense to.
So we'd have
do
to
that.
walk backwards away from the mower?
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Strike that,
Yeah,
okay? And.
Make a motion, we do so.
yeah.
Second, all in favor?
There was about use of a loader, never carrying a load with a loader when the bucket is more than 2 feet from the ground. Well, I guess our loader automatically adjusts, I think it
I
was.
think that's what they were saying. Does
But,
the load
It's
adjust?
It's called a comfort ride.
Okay.
So it keeps it from bouncing everywhere, is that what that
What it
is?
does is it turns them front pistons into like shock absorbers.
Yep.
Mhm.
And you have to be careful with that because that works on RPMs. Because you can have the bucket there with somebody right by it, and you rev that machine up, that bucket will pick up.
They just asked it reflect same language as the hydraulics license. There must
Yeah,
be
yeah, I don't think we need to have that part in it.
at all, okay?
All right, make a motion, we restrain it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Also, under highway, sewer, and water, there was proper procedures for entering manholes. and it was out of date, the language I was interested to make it be like the confined space training.
Which they,
Which they
That
have just
wording.
spent 9 to 10 days at.
exactly.
Kathy, you require the sewer guys to use that gas meter before they go in?
I think that's been that way all along. That they're supposed to have done that before they go into that
Check
space.
it out, so, yeah. And then blow up or kill them.
Do you want to make a motion on that?
Yeah, make a motion that it become part of the confined space training application. You know, we're doing that.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Under the water department, there was a language about safety goggles shall be worn while using air-driven tools to make that eye protection instead of safety goggles.
Great, make a motion to go with safety goggles.
Second.
Eye protection.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I believe that's it.
That wasn't too bad.
For
For a year,
30 pages,
for a year's worth of work.
yeah. And you know what, you guys did a great job too, because there were a lot of repeats, redundancies, you know, with much of it.
Yeah.
And it really got applied correctly and done correctly, so that's great.
Yeah.
And that's been a long time in the coming.
Once we get these other things ironed out, we'll get copies of it, and maybe we'll make sure all our employees
Sign it.
get signed, that
Yep.
they received one.
Yep.
Yep.
You just mentioned the water department has that makes me think, we should, this is being filmed, if anybody has any problems with their water, because I know I've got a few complaints
As have I.
about
Absolutely.
the color of the water, and, you know, people have concerns. I know my water's the same way. Sometimes it's okay, and other times it's pretty horrible color that they need to contact, the people need to contact the water commissioners or the DPW superintendent, because the water commissioners oversee the water department, not the select board. I know there's been some, people had some concerns, and just so that people know, and if they call up the office or whatever, you'll just have to refer them to that. Hopefully they can tell us if you had a little update about what they've been doing or something.
Yes, we have been referring them to the water department, and I did speak with the DPW department about putting a public service announcement in there, so it would be in the paper.
Yeah.
They were working on that, and but wanted to make sure it was ran it through DEP first, and then recently they believe they flushed out some lines, so there was improvement for some people, but we received a complaint after that happened from someone else that lives around the common, but again referred the person to the water commission. But they're working on an updated public service announcement, given the new change.
Hopefully they'll get that out soon.
Right, and there's a lot going on there. You know, and they said they cleaned out the tank last spring, and that they're going to do the same thing. These people will be doing it in April, May, and June. But that's a great idea to do that and put that in the paper. You know, because it's been brought up several times. Super. Just want to bring up just 2 things. One is the death of Harold Nichols. He served, I think he served the town since he was like 16 or 17 in various capacities, and just left the town recently, so he's served the town for an incredible number of years. And we certainly, you know, sorry to hear what happened to him, and also to Brittany Murch, young lady. I had that girl in 7th grade, and I had driven, it just so happens I've driven like 4 times by that area, you know, in the last 2 days, and it's just, you know, heart-wrenching is to say the least.
Our thoughts go out to the families of all those involved.
Yes.
Like I stated to the young lady here, Miss Leansky, that road is tricky. There's spots where the road seems fine. You know, and it's a horrible accident. You see something like that happen. Very unfortunate.
know, and you just don't realize until you're on some of those roads and it looks like it's a great day. The sun's shining, but with the way some of the trees are, the road just never breaks down for a while. You know, there's still ice on the road,
Yeah.
and it's really tough.
Anything else?
No, that was it. That was my,
Heather?
Just, we forgot to thank George Rickard last meeting.
Oh, yes, I meant to do that, in that cold snap.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, George went out and he checked all our buildings. He, on his own time,
right.
you know, making sure the heat was going so we didn't have frozen pipes and stuff. And I thought should be commended for that. So, you know, didn't put in the time to do it.
Right.
And shows that he cares about the town.
Checked it continuously.
So we should send him a
Yep.
letter.
Yep,
Oh, thanks.
yep, I'll make a motion to do so.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. And also, I like the fact that we sent out those letters for the fire that happened on West Street.
Yeah,
And the letters of thanks, you know, to the police department. And surely, you know, police and fire, and also certainly with the accident too.
yeah.
You know, what all of them had to go through and what they had to see, as this woman attested to. It's just
You know, and
incredible
also
thing.
tip the hats to, I think it was Rob and Joe, I think were the first ones
At the scene.
at the scene because there was an accident up the road farther.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And from what I gathered, just from reading the paper, that it seems like the young boy is kind of holding his own and showing some good signs. And there was an article in the paper the other day, which is
Yeah.
pretty nice. And I'm sure it had a lot to do with the good treatment that he received at the scene,
Yeah.
you know, by, I think it was Rob and Joe House.
Chris Snow maybe was there too.
I'd have to check
Yeah.
to those you know, involved in it, that way they can cover everybody. It's, you know, very trying too, and, you know, it's hard, I've been through it myself, being on the fire department, when you deal with something similar to that. You know, I never forget what I went through, when I had to deal with similar situations. And I can still picture it today, so it's very traumatic to people. And they had to be brave and stuff, and hopefully that helped out some of them. And I commend them, like you said, Kathy, for everybody's job that they did there. They did the best they could. You know, understand that they did a very good, efficient job of doing it. In really extreme circumstances.
One last thing I forgot as well, Rich and I attended a training that the fire department held
Oh, and the
on the confined space.
Yep.
Rope and Trent, they're missing.
Nope,
They went through the whole exercise with the equipment that they got through that grant.
Yep.
The trailer has, I believe it was $80,000 worth of equipment that's in that trailer
Yeah.
that they utilize for that.
Absolutely amazing, the cost of some of that stuff. I
I
was
know.
talking to these guys that were involved in it. There's this little mechanism, it's no bigger than this, it's about this thick. It has a ratchet thing on one side that's to release or to bring back in. It's more like a fancy pulley. $800 and something for that. So I'm talking to the guys in the, you know, we have 2 people on that team in our town that I know of, well, that work full-time, Jason and Pimental and Tom George.
Yep.
And these other teams, those people from Leominster,
Lunenburg,
Lunenburg,
Bolton, I think.
yeah, Holden had a few,
Fitchburg.
Clinton,
Yep.
and they said the same thing, you know, they're much bigger Clinton. I was talking to the gentleman from Clinton, I think they said they have like, I can believe it was like 20 or 30 full-time firefighters in that time in the city. And he's like, oh, you couldn't afford to do this.
No.
You know, that's just one little thing. How much do those fancy harnesses cost, or that tripod that's holding the
Yes,
thing?
that's
you know?
right.
And they did it, I watched them, I'm very impressed. And the trench, there's also a separate one for trench safety. That trailer is stored, there's 4 trailers, I think they said.
For the district, yes.
Right, one is stored in Barre, one is stored in Holden, think, lemon stuff, and I can't remember the place else. But the trench safety one, I think they said they had one, and that was in Fort Devens. So if there is a trench accident, it's gonna be a little bit. These people train, I'm not sure of the trench, I'm talking about the one we have twice a month. Usually towards the end of the month, they said they hold trainings, they hold one during the week, and then they hold one on the weekends. You know, because a lot of them are called firefighters like us.
Right.
So during the week, I imagine that's to oblige the full-timers,
Sure,
so they don't have to come in on their weekends off.
right,
And the ones on the weekends to oblige, you know, departments like we have.
yep,
It was pretty good.
yeah,
I was impressed
yeah.
by the operation. They're very
Professionalism.
professional.
Right.
When they go through it, it's taken very seriously, the whole
Mhm.
exercise when they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's a real life.
Hands-free communication with the person down in the situation and up on top. That was one of the issues they discussed afterwards, you know, how everything went. The mic is throat activated. The thing
Oh,
that goes here.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you talk, that
It picks it up.
keys the mic and
Yeah. Well,
kind of cool. And like Keller said, there's no goofing around, you know, no chit-chatting, you just do this and they're talking all the time. Okay, we're doing this, stop, okay, we're doing this, you know, that's pretty good.
And we have 6 people on our town employees that are trained or certified,
Right.
but all the firefighters are trained on the equipment.
Great.
good, excellent.
Great. Super.
All right, everybody set?
Yep, motion to adjourn,
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second it?
all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect.
Good job.
Thank you.